Check 1, 2, check. Check. Check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Test. Good afternoon. Welcome back here on PSB Media. Patrick Lilia alongside Mike York, who's pulling some double duty over there this afternoon. He's running our computer as well. St. Cloud taking on South Washington County, the Slapshots and the Thunderbolts. Winner of this game will take on Maple Grove against North Suburban in the championship game. That game already well underway. Maple Grove had a 1-0 lead at first check, but that was quite a while ago already. The scoring right off the opening draw are the Slapshots. That'll be number 17, Dayton Wentius with the goal, it looked like. But right out of the gate, 1-0 St. Cloud with the lead here in the CI semifinal.
So just interesting to know, if you did just watch the PI game, here with CI rolls, there's a centerman who has a striped stick. He can go anywhere on the floor. There are defense who can only go past half court, and also with the forwards, they can only go past half court. If they do, then it's considered an offsides.
Puck on the far side boards. This game getting underway in such an untimely manner because the previous game in the PI semifinal went to overtime. That was an impressively, it was a great game won by Anoka Hennepin. The shot that's kicked aside. by the goalie number 20, Tyler Everts, and sent all the way back down. And scoring off the centering pass is Wentese again. Oh, 2 goals for Wentese in the first 50 or 49 seconds of the game, and it's 2-0, St. Cloud leading. 14-11 to go in the first period. And already a timeout taken by South Washington. Certainly not how they expected this game to start, down 2-0, only 59 seconds in.
They started off really hot and quick here, and it was a good timeout by the coach because St. Cloud just came out on fire so fast that I couldn't even get the scoreboard on time too, just to match up with their scoring. So hopefully coach can settle them down and get their heads into the game and wake them up.
Certainly. So the Slapshots literally scoring off the opening faceoff. That doesn't happen very often in any level of the sport. And then Wentney scored again right after that on a centering attempt. And he's a big guy out there, so it's definitely going to be something that the Thunderbolts are going to have to figure out how to slow him down. And out in front are the Thunderbolts. They have their first offensive zone time. And sending deep and scoring off the rebound is Tyler Tanucci.
Here we got a replay of that. Yep, centers it, gets it down, and yeah, finds him for the goal.
So we've already had 3 goals, 1 minute and 12 seconds elapsed into the game. So Tanucci gets that goal at 1:12, and it's 2-1 now in favor of the Slapshots. Puck along the far side boards. And it looked like it did get poked under the board, so we'll have a stoppage. 13:26 to go in the first period, 2-1 already in favor of St. Cloud. Of a center court faceoff. It's won and controlled by St. Cloud, but the Thunderbolts pushing it already back deep into their offensive zone. The puck goes off a foot, and now the puck sent in deep behind the St. Cloud net. Sending it in deep behind, and there's a blast that goes wide. That was Nathan Ponder on that drive. That was wide of the net, and then a puck sent all the way in deep. And there's Whitney's again. Whitney's has scored 3 times in the first 2 minutes and 15 seconds of the game, and it's 3-1 in favor of St. Cloud.
Just some fast-paced action here. Yep, they're just scoring right away, taking advantage of the goaltender there, and finding seams that he can't stop. Oh, I guess they disallowed the goal.
Yeah, they did wave the goal off. Might have had a player who was in the wrong position possibly, or something, and the face-off ends up going into the South Washington zone. Pushing it up are the Slapshots, though, right back into their offensive zone. Wentney's out front, unable to connect on the centering pass as it's sent back into the far side corner. Wentney's will go chase it down, along with Bryce Smith from the Thunderbolts. Puck behind the net of the Thunderbolts. Turning around to Smith, he sends it in deep. And falling on it and covering it, the St. Cloud goalie Tyler Everts. 11:35 to go in the first period. Face off to the right of Everts. And puck deflected out of play by Matthew Newman from the Slapshots, number 5. St. Cloud in white with the blue numbers, moving from left to right. And the Thunderbolts from South Washington County in maroon, going from right to left. The yellow numbers. Thunderbolts send it down in the corner, centering feet a little bit too far for anybody to reach. Slapshots come up with it and clear it out by Newman. But sent right back in and then out of play. Brian Jones will take the face off. Being sent back down on goal, and Everts will fall on it and freeze it. So already 2 goals by St. Cloud, another one that was disallowed. And then the 1 goal by the Thunderbolts. And the puck sent out of play on the face-off by Jones. As mentioned, the winner of this game will take on the winner of Maple Grove against North Suburban.
And just if you're confused by those timeouts, they stop every 5 minutes for a change, a mandatory change, or sometimes they don't change players, but it is a rest break for the CI players since they do have running in this style.
So both teams will change. The 10-minute mark, center's court face-off upcoming. Face-off sent down into the Thunderbolt zone. Thunderbolt's trying to bring it up. It has it sent back in by Jones. Tyrell Frank Cross also down there for the slap shots. Puck battle on the far side boards. Sent out of play up into the South Washington bench. .9:25 to go in the first period. The slap shot scored off the opening face-off as Dayton Wentys loaded up with a long blast that found its way through pretty much from the center line, and then Wentney scored on a centering pass less than a minute later that made it 2-0. And then Tyler Tanucci scoring on a rebound for the Thunderbolts. This all happened in about the first minute 12, so haven't had any scoring since then.
Yep, it seems both teams have kind of are now even now through this play. They're feeling each other out with the quick goals, and now they're even, and both teams are headed up, the same. So.
Be a face-off to the right of the goalie. That's Carson Reynolds. He's trying to clear it out, or the Thunderbolts, but it's blocked. Zachary Ritzer, one of those down there, with a couple of big bodies with Ritzer and Nathan Ponder from South Washington. Puck deflects out of play. They face off above the center circle, a little bit to the right. Will deflect, be sent back out of play. Face-off controlled by South Washington, but quickly the slap shots come out. Well, there's a great shot on goal and a great save by Reynolds. Brian Jones with that shot on goal and a great save. The puck is sent back into the zone and then sent right back down behind. And trying to fall on it is Everts. He didn't fall on it, but his defense bails him out. But the Thunderbolts sending it back in, but then sent back out and down. There's Tyler Frank Cross. Cross sending it up behind the net. Jones throwing it toward the net, kicked aside by Reynolds. And Jones still ends up with it. Hit Reynolds in the glove and falling on it somehow. That was a really great save by Reynolds. Reynolds not quite knowing where the puck was. He had somehow able to knock it down and then fall on it to prevent it from going in. It looked like kind of a sprawling backward save as Jones scores.
He's got a great shot, and he's got some nice moves too. He moves side to side to put a deke on him, and he's been getting some good quality shots from the point.
So Jones with the goal, and that'll make it 3-1 in favor of the slap shots. Play back down in the offensive zone for St. Cloud, but then cleared out by the Thunderbolt. Here's Tanucci around behind his own net, harassed by a couple of defenders. He'll sweep it out, and then he'll have it all go all the way back down. Here's Frank Cross chasing it down behind his own net. Sent up into the corner with Ritzer. There's a shot on goal. And scoring again is Jones.
Just everywhere.
Time Jones over on the opposite side from where he scored a moment ago. Winds up for another blast and hits it home again. It's 4-1 in favor of St. Cloud with 6:13 to go in the first period.
You got to try to put a body on him or something because he's just having his way with the defense over there.
Right back down into the offensive zone, but then sent back deep into the defensive zone for the slap shots. Poking it ahead, here is Jones again. Jones looking, going to shoot it wide. Nice job by the defense there to sweep it away. It looked like that puck was sitting out there to be sent in again for the slap shots, but a good job by the Thunderbolts defense to sweep it out of there as Everts falls on the puck there. Tyler Tanucci, one of those down there for the Thunderbolts. 5:25 to go in the first period, 4-1 in favor of St. Cloud. This is Frank Cross trying to gain control of the puck. Meets a couple of defenders though, and the Thunderbolts push it back up out of their zone briefly. Frank Cross sending it in behind the net. Centering feed that almost snuck all the way through to Frank Cross as we got the 5-minute break. Could be a good break for the Thunderbolts as now they're trying to slow down these high-flying slap shots a little bit.
Yeah, let's see what they can do here. I know they just changed centermen, so let's see what they can provide here for the Thunderbolts here.
Face-off controlled by the slap shots as Wendy's back in the game. Already has those 2 goals in the first minute of the game. See him out in front of the net, and they'll try to center it to him, but this one does get through, and he scores again. Had a 3rd goal earlier that was waved off, but this one will count, so he already has 3 goals in the first period, and it's 5-1 in favor of St. Cloud.
See if we can get you a replay on that. Yep, he's right wide open. They feed it to him. Just waiting, waiting, waiting. Feeds it to him. Right to there and scores.
Having some discussion now is...
Are they going to check his... They are going to check his stick to see if he has an illegal curve. What they do is they'll put a quarter between, and it will see if it's illegal. So they're giving back the stick to the player, so I believe it is within standard.
Still discussing, though, might have some questions from the St. Cloud coach. It looked like he doesn't agree with the assessment of the stick. Like he's moved over to the officials table there at the center. Mike Bakken, the head coach of the Slapshots. Referees still, they're looking at something in a...
Yeah, it looks like a rule book here. Trying to get a clarification.
PA making such the announcement that just want to make sure that they do have everything correct. So again, the winner of this game will match up with the winner of North Suburban against Maple Grove. That game already well underway even before this one got started. After the PI semifinal went into overtime, so this game got a little bit of a late start, but didn't seem to affect the Slapshots. They come out and they were on a roll. They lead 5-1, 4:43 to go in the first period. Referees still going over the rule book. But you do want to make sure that everything is right. Got to make sure the stick is within limits. The stick in question belonging to Justin Neff of the South Washington Thunderbolts. Now we have the players sort of migrating over toward the bench area during this delay. We'll have a couple of South Washington players out on the court, and
this is a definitely interesting clarification rule. I haven't seen anything this long stating about a curved stick. Usually it's done right away with the quarter. And
well, because they did take the quarter out, and it did appear that they measured it, and they gave the stick back to Neff.
yeah.
So at that point, I think you and I both thought that that was going to be the end of the discussion, but then we saw the head coach for St. Cloud go over to the table, and he was sort of arguing something. And then the referees went to the rule book. It looked like they were still consulting the rule book.
And then Jim Buckenhern was over there. He's the secretary of the MAAA, hopefully helping get a clarification on this rule. I believe the head official is probably in a game somewhere in this facility, probably, so he can't answer this.
And it looks like they are now going to take the stick in question out of play. So not quite sure how we came to this conclusion, because it looked like they were going to let the stick go, and then after must have been about 5 minutes by this point of them, the referees consulting the rule book, they decide that the stick is in fact illegal, and now there will be a penalty against Neff for the illegal stick. That'll put the Slapshots on a power play with 4:43 to go in the first period. Already up 5-1.
And it looks like they decide to put one forward back.
Slapshots win the face-off, eventually able to get control and then throwing it toward the net where it's knocked aside by Reynolds. Then sent in deep by the Thunderbolts, and then thrown back up toward the far side by Kaylee Hastings. Rather, I should say that's Matthew Newman. I apologize. Couldn't tell my 5 from my 6. And the Thunderbolts trying to get it out of their zone shorthanded. Again, the 2-minute penalty to Neff for the illegal stick. Through a long delay. And here's Jones almost scoring, and then scoring on the rebound are the slap shots on the power play. That'll make it 6-1. 3:50 to go in the first period.
Yep. Neff will come off there, and now the Thunderbolts will be full strength.
Jordan Williams given credit for the goal. So 6-1, the slap shots leading, and right back in. Here's Jones with a shot that's deflected off of Reynolds, but then getting his own rebound and scoring is Jones. So St. Cloud scores again at 7-1 in favor of the slap shots. Reynolds has made some great saves, but sometimes those rebounds just get to be a little bit too much to handle. And here's Went East as he scores.
Wow.
Went East scores for the 4th time in the first period, and it's 8-1 in favor of St. Cloud.
Looks like Thunderbolts are a little discombobulated here. They just got it right off the face-off here, and really just taking it to this Thunderbolts team.
So Dayton Went East scoring for the 4th time in the period. As here's Tanucci trying to push it up forward, and then eventually as it does go down deep into the zone for the Thunderbolts. Slap shots possessing against the top of the circle. Centering feed for Went East just a little bit too far. Went East trying to center again, goes into the far side corner. The puck battle between Nicholas Jones and Jordan Williams. Puck ends up back near center ice where the slap shots control. Jones throws it toward the net, doesn't go wide. Went East behind the net. Does it deflect back, and the Thunderbolts able to send it out to center ice, but then back center court rather. Then right back in and able to stop and hold on from that charge from Went East. That's Carson Reynolds with the stoppage. Went East with 4 goals in the first period, 2:30 left to go in the opening frame. The clearing attempt is blocked. And eventually is cleared all the way down into the St. Cloud defensive zone. Here's Neff, who was back after that stick penalty. Here's Jones. Jones in. Jones draws it back, and there's a tried to feed it up to Williams, but Thunderbolt's able to knock that off nicely. Here comes Williams in. Williams with a great shot, and then here's another goal.
Wow.
9-1 in favor of St. Cloud.
They're just no quit in this team, and just keep going, keep pushing forward, keep pulling ahead.
Absolutely. So they'll play along the near side boards as Went East there knocks somebody down, and that might be a penalty as Went East sent Nathan Ponder over the boards. Went East will head to the penalty box. Be the first power play of the game for the Thunderbolts.
Let's see what the Thunderbolts can do now with this man advantage. See if they can pop another one in here. Give them some confidence.
Draw ends up being sent all the way back down by the slap shots. As Reynolds freezes it with 52 seconds and counting to go in the first period. So St. Cloud got going right away on the opening faceoff as Went East scored right away from pretty much from center court. He has scored 5 times in the first period. A couple of other goals from Jordan Williams and Brian Jones. Make it 9-1 in favor of St. Cloud. Canucci has the 1 goal for the Thunderbolts as Canucci possesses the puck, trying to center it, and having to sprawl on it is Tyler Everts. That might be the final play of the first period as we tick under 5 seconds. What a save by Everts as he sprawled backwards, and indeed that'll be the end of the first period. St. Cloud leading at 9-1. Thanks for tuning in. You're watching PSB Media's coverage of adaptive floor hockey semifinals and finals. We'll be right back with the start of the second period. Stay tuned.
There's just one place where students are students first, and athletics are played with purpose and perspective. That place is your local high school. High school sports offer more than the joy of competition. Studies show that student athletes are also likely to enjoy greater levels of achievement in other areas of their lives, including academics. High school sports, a winning part of a complete education.
It's easy to spot people who participated in high school sports and activities.
Right on time.
They learned important lessons like leadership, teamwork, respect.
Hey, our meeting moved to 10.
We'll be ready.
Values that last a lifetime.
We need to focus on 3 factors.
Support high school sports and activities in your community. When kids take part, they get set for life. National studies show that students who participate in activities like music, sports, and drama not only have better grades and attendance, but they develop the character to handle adversity, the grace to accept defeat, and the self-confidence to start over. Take part. Get set for life.
Second period now underway. 9-1, St. Cloud leading as Everts falling on it for St. Cloud as the Thunderbolts pressed in deep early on. 14:35 to go in the second period. Thunderbolts will look for a little bit of offensive zone time. They didn't really have much of it in the first period. They will be setting up nicely. Here's a slap shot that's blocked out front and into the near side corner. Here's Neff trying to center it. Neff will go chase it down, try to send it back in along the far side boards where Nicholas Jones of South Washington County will have it sent all the way down into his own defensive zone. It's a blast that goes wide by Nicholas Jones. Is Neff going to chase it down with Matthew Newman right behind him from St. Cloud. And David Newman sending it up but not out. And there's a shot on goal that's caught out of the air, going to the ground by Everts.
Yep, nice shot. That's what the Thunderbolts need. They need to make nice shots on goal and see if they can get in for rebounds.
Face off to the left of Everts. penalty is over to Wentjes, who went to the box for the, after he accidentally knocked a player over. For the Thunderbolts able to clear it out. Here's Nicholas Jones and Newman battling, but St. Cloud ends up sending it back up into the offensive zone. 9-1 in favor of the slap shots. With Newman, David Newman sending it up ahead, and falling on it again is Everts. Dayton Wentney scored 5 times for the slap shots in the first period. Also had goals from Brian Jones and Jordan Williams. Accidentally knocking it into their own net is Matthew Newman. That'll make it 9-2 in favor of the slap shots.
But that's what they need. They need some bounces here. Maybe get some luck to go their way. And see if they can make it happen now.
Well, Newman saying he's sorry to his goaltender. He just accidentally knocked it into his own net. Tanucci will be credited for the goal officially. That'll be his second of the game. Play going back into the zone for the offensive zone. There's a shot that goes wide. Here's Neff chasing it into the corner, sending it along the near boards. Then chasing it down again is Neff as the boards stretch a little bit, as they do. Play moves to the far side. Try to wind up for a blast is Neff. It sort of rolls in on Everts, and he freezes it. 11:54 to go in the second period. 9-2, St. Cloud with the lead. Brian Jones pushing it ahead, but then puck sent back into the defensive zone for the slap shots. Puck ends up down deep in the zone. Here's David Newman trying to bring it around his own net. He'll send it up ahead, but then it's held in nicely. And then sending it around the back of the net is Tanucci. And puck goes all the way back down to the St. Cloud offensive zone. Here's Jones trying to work his way for a blast out front that ends up going wide. Puck goes into the far side corner, ends up going off the back of the net. Into the near corner come Matthew Newman and Justin Neff right out in front of us. It'll end up look like it'll get poked out of play. So it'll be right literally where we are sitting is where that play happened. And have a face-off to the right of Everts. Puck pushed down deep into the offensive zone for the slap shots. Slap shots trying to bring it ahead. Puck goes around the back of the net. Thunderbolts push it up to the red line. Here's Neff. Pushes it up toward the far boards. Nicholas Jones will go grab it. There's a blast on goal. Fallen on by Everts as we hit the 5-minute timeout.
That was a nice little kick save by their St. Cloud goalie there. And then he was able to corral the rebound.
Great work by Jones to work his way over to that puck, and then he let one rip. That thing had some real heat on it. So both teams will change some personnel at the 5-minute timeout. As St. Cloud wins the face-off, but doesn't control it, and they push it up into the offensive zone. Here's Wentney's trying to he turned around with the puck. It kind of wasn't where I think he thought it was going to be. Here's Wentney's working his way around, trying to center it. Goes to the far side boards, where Williams and Ponder down there battling for it in the far side corner. And eventually coming away with it is Bryce Smith. Smith will go down, delayed penalty coming up. Now finally, Thunderbolts touch up and play is stopped. Tanucci going to the penalty area, rather maybe not. He wandered over in that direction, but so it'll be Elizabeth Schmidt going to the penalty box for the Thunderbolts. So another power play coming up for the slap shots. Will be their second of the game with 8:40 and counting to go here in the second period.
2 minutes for interference.
Interference to the call, and the slap shots on the power play, leading 9-2. Jones with a nice move there, and he'll throw it toward the net. Nice save by Reynolds. Reynolds has been kept busy all afternoon long.
Yes, he has. He's been having a tough time, he's got to control his rebounds a little bit better, but they're throwing nice low shots on him.
So the puck comes into the near side boards off the face-off. Aggressive play out front of us once again. That's Tanucci down there along with Matthew Newman from St. Cloud. Puck goes out of play, and we will have a face-off to the right of Tyler Everts. This one won by St. Cloud, but puck controlled eventually by the Thunderbolts rather. The puck sent down across the red line and then sent in deep by the slap shots. Went east down in the near side corner. Loses control though, and Ponder sends it up to the red line. Here's Wentney toward the net and scoring. Dayton Wentney scores again. 6 goals in the game for him. It's 10-2 in favor of St. Cloud. 7:02 to go in the second period. Wendy's controlling, and this time he'll have it kicked aside by Reynolds. Here's Jones in, Jones looking, Jones met by a couple of defenders as the puck poked away from him into the corner. Jones will end up bringing it around. Jones up at the top of the circle. Scoring is Jones again. Jones let one rip from the top of the circle. We'll make it 11-2 in favor of St. Cloud.
Another nice low shot. Goalie can't get down to save it. Maybe possibly was screened a little bit too.
The Thunderbolts send the face-off into the top of their offensive zone, but losing it, and here's Jones. Jones working his way around Schmidt. Schmidt, though, pokes it away from him, and puck sent in deep by Bryce Smith. And Bryce Smith controlling the puck right about the center line. Smith one sent in deep, and it's knocked aside by Everts. As Jones sends it in deep again. Just missing on the backhand was Williams. And then Matthew Newman's poking it down into the far corner, and Reynolds will make the save. 5:27 to go in the second period, 11-2 St. Cloud with the lead. Face-off won by St. Cloud. Here's Wentnich with a drive that goes wide. Jones trying to gain control of it, but it's taken away from him by Smith. Jones will end up, though, with the puck as it rolls along the near side boards, and then we'll have a shot that goes wide as we hit the 10-minute timeout of the second period. So both teams will take a break and change a few players. (11-2) in favor of St. Cloud here in the second period.
Now you're going to wonder if you want to give any of these guys rests before the game here for St. Cloud. Here, if the score starts getting a little bit even more out of hand, just to rest up your starters so you can, especially your centerman number 2 there for St. Cloud. You're going to want to rest them for the big game if they do end up keeping a hold of this big lead here.
Absolutely. His play along the far side boards pushed up by South Washington, but St. Cloud there, and there is Newman. Newman heads it up ahead, but puck battle on the near side and will have a stoppage. Might have gone out of play, or couldn't quite tell. 4:25 left in the second period. 11-2 St. Cloud with the lead. Face-off will go deep into the offensive zone for the slap shots. Face-off controlled by Jones. Jones will push it toward the net where it's blocked.
And that will go in as a goal.
Yeah, I couldn't quite tell. Must have gone into the far side of the net. So to make it 12-2 in favor of St. Cloud off that goal.
Yeah, just went over the goalie's shoulder there and couldn't make a stop.
The play right back into the St. Cloud offensive zone. Here's Jones on the far side. Jones working his way around. But it'll be frozen by Reynolds. I've taken a second to make sure all his gear is strapped on correctly. Face-off comes out to center right. Here's Jones. Jones will push it in forward. The action still along the far side, now trying to center it for Matthew Newman. Newman will send it in deep, and there's another goal.
Good passing, actually, there by St. Cloud. Passed it back to the defenseman, and the defenseman passed it up back to the forward who passed it to him as a give and go, and had a nice open shot.
I believe that'll be Zachary Ritzer on the goal. 13-2, St. Cloud with the lead. Indeed, it will be Ritzer on the goal. Here's Adam Marshall putting it toward the net, goes wide. Then trying to center it, here's Marshall at another chance, but that one is blocked by Reynolds. Good save there. Puck battle behind the net. Centering attempt goes on to the far side corner and out of play. With 2:02 to go here in the second period. Cole Wenzel who had the puck briefly, and then Marshall with another centering chance out front that just a little bit out of his reach. Trying to clear it, but unable to are the Thunderbolts. With Jones with it, Jones looking. Marshall who had an opportunity, but just a little bit out of his reach, and I'll go back behind the net.
Jones now just putting on a nice little passing display, getting to the open man.
Jones ends up with the puck again along the far boards. As Marshall now has it along the near side, and he'll send it behind the net. Reynolds will make the stop. 52 seconds left in the second period. St. Cloud with that 13-2 lead. Faceoff will be to the left of Reynolds. Jones will take the draw. Puck will be sent down deep into the St. Cloud defensive zone. Yagan Gok sending it forward and will go out of play. And Jones with the puck off the faceoff. Jones along the far board is doing a good job of working his way around Casey Mernon. As time just about running out here in the second period. St. Cloud playing very well today. Certainly don't want to take anything away from the Thunderbolts either, but St. Cloud definitely looking very sharp this afternoon if they lead 13-2 here at the second intermission. We're going to take a quick break. We'll come back with a third period momentarily. You're watching the CI semifinal here on PSB Media.
You want to win, that's cool. Number one, But I just gotta say, this ain't the only reason why we play. I play to fix my fears, take the last shot. Every eye on me, the risk is monumental. Courage, instrumental. I play for fun, hang with my friends. Together we're strong, this is my crew, I get to belong. How about you? I play to fail. Surprise, get what? You gotta make those mistakes, do what it takes. You'll fight confidence. What a difference it makes. We're connected, it's bigger than you, bigger than me. We are. Every shot, every game, every chance, every moment is the same. Can you see where we're going? Can you see how we're growing? Can you see our potential? This is why we play.
Coaches teach your kids to dream. Coaches teach your kids to overcome. Coaches teach your kids good sportsmanship. Coaches teach your kids proper technique. But who teaches your coaches?
Starting the third period and scoring off the face-off are the Thunderbolts. Like Tanucci might have gotten that one. Tanucci and Bryce Smith were the two down there. So a much-needed goal for the Thunderbolts. I'll give Smith credit for the goal. Tanucci will get the assist. Things go right back deep into the offensive zone for the Thunderbolts. It's going to the ground is Newman. Took a hit from Nicholas Jones. 13-3, St. Cloud leading 14-10 left to go in regulation.
Just some fast-paced action by the Thunderbolts to start out this period here. And looked really good there. And as some kids got into the action quite a bit there with that little knock into.
Absolutely is. Face off deep in the offensive zone. And there's Jones who briefly had it poked away from him. Here come the Thunderbolts, and diving to fall on it is Tyler Everts. Everts has had some nice sprawling saves in this game. He's looked really good. One of those goals was an own goal, accidentally knocking it into their own net, or the slap shots. Play deep in the offensive zone. That was a nice, again, sprawling save by Everts as he sort of dove as a couple of brown jerseys converged on him. So a little bit of a risky save, but he got it done. And then Jones had it deep in the offensive zone. Here's Jones again with it. Goes into the far side corner. Or the near side corner, I should say. It's the far end from us, so that's why I keep saying far side of this. Puck behind the net for the Thunderbolts. Puck sent deep and into the far side corner on this side of the rink. Good opportunity out front for Smith. He just couldn't handle it, and then Everts ends up falling on it for the save. 12:07 to go in the game. 13-3, St. Cloud leading. Centering attempt by Smith. Smith trying to chase it down, but Jones gets to it first, sends it out to the red line, but kept right back in the offensive zone as Everts will cover it up. Dayton Went East has scored 6 times for the in the game for the slap shots. Jones sends it in deep. And able to hold the line is Jones. Jones putting on some nifty moves, trying to work his way around Tanucci and Smith. Net knocked off its moorings and play is stopped with 10:58 to go here in the third period. Face off to the left of Everts. Won by the Thunderbolts. Penalty over. Oh, the slap shots back at full strength. And here's Everts, who has it roll off the tip of his glove. He'll dive forward and fall on it and make the save. 10:18 to go in the third period. 13-3, St. Cloud leading. Face-off will be to the right of Everts. You have Jones taking the face-off for St. Cloud. We get the 10-minute timeout.
I'm just so surprised they're not resting too, since they do have a big, huge game coming up. Hopefully against North Suburban, they did win. And they're the front runners to win the whole thing, and if they want to compete with them, they need to start maybe resting their number 2 there and some of their other big players here.
Certainly something for them to think about. They do have that 10-goal lead with 10 minutes left to play. So we'll see what they do decide to do here. Maybe they start thinking about that when we hit the 5-minute timeout coming up in a little while. Center court faceoff sent in deep and into the bench area out of play. So on the CI side, it looks like we will have St. Cloud taking on North Suburban in that championship game later on this afternoon. Also have the PI matchup is set. It'll be Brainerd taking on Anoka Hennepin. Anoka Hennepin winning in overtime. There's a blast that goes wide. And then Everett's falling on it. Anoka Hennepin led that game against Rochester 4-1 with about 8.5 minutes left. Rochester scored the next 3 goals to tie it up and send it into overtime. With Tyler Izzle sending the Mustangs of Anoka Hennepin into the championship game with an overtime goal with about 6 seconds remaining in the first overtime. So that the Mustangs will be taking on Brainerd later on this afternoon in the PI final. Shot scorer, Zachary Ritzer for the second time today. Make it 14-3 in favor of St. Cloud. It's got that rebound that Reynolds wasn't able to stop.
See if we can get a replay here.
But I don't think Everett was expecting that puck to come in as hard as it did. I think he kind of didn't know where it was for a moment after it hit him. But it ends up just going harmlessly aside. As chasing it down deep into the zone is Frank Cross for the slap shots. And here's Jones up at the top of the circle, fires it wide. Jones will chase it down once again. Jones puts it toward the net, and it's cleared out, though, by Bryce Smith, and then sent right back in by the slap shots. Puck in the near side corner. Here's David Newman. David Newman sending it up toward the red line where it's stopped and held there briefly by the Thunderbolts, but then it does eventually get sent in all the way down into their defensive zone. Here's Jones with it. Jones has to go off the end of his stick, looking to center it. Now down deep in the offensive zone for the Thunderbolts. And here's Jones in. Jones, a nice save by Reynolds. The rebound goes wide. We go under 6:50 to go in regulation. As here's Frank Cross chasing it down behind his own net. That one just poked wide off the rebound. Here's Jones. Jones has it go off a couple of feet. Jones and Nick Goff for St. Cloud sending it up into the far side boards. Zachary Ritzer has scored a couple of times. Ritzer out front as it's stopped by Reynolds. Great save there by Reynolds. As Jones up at the red line sends it in down to the near side boards. There's Frank Cross with it. As it poked away from him, though, by Smith. Smith, though, unable to clear. And Goff holding it at the red line. As Jones puts it up ahead, right behind the net. Jones sends it, bounces off the back wall, comes back up, and here's Everett sprawling out. He'll make a save. And then Goff will send it up to the red line. Smith with it for the Thunderbolts. Send it into the far corner, and now here's Jones with it. Jones off the near side board, sends a shot over the top of the net. Frank Cross will go grab it behind the net. Here's Ritzer. Ritzer who sends it back to Jones near the red line, and Jones scores again from about the red line area. 15-3 as we hit the 5-minute timeout.
Nasty snipe shot. He up from the corner and had a tough angle with it, too.
He let that one rip up into the, up as somebody said in the previous game, right up where mom hides the cookies. 15-3, St. Cloud leading at the 5-minute timeout. Looks like number of fresh faces on the court for both teams. We kind of talked about whether St. Cloud with that lead might think about pulling some of their key players late.
Looks like they did it now. Yep, they definitely need to rest here for their upcoming game here.
It'll be later on this afternoon against North Suburban, who won earlier over Maple Grove. That game got started well before we did, and so they got Brett down here with us after that game has ended.
Yeah, he's peering over our shoulder like like we're doing something bad or something.
Everts falls on it with the save. He's looking at us like, what are you guys talking about?
I feel watched. Judged.
Jordan Williams sends it down deep. It's Adam Marshall in the corner with it, tries to center for Williams, but it goes off a stick and out to the red line. Comes Neff. Neff will battle with Janelle Lehman. He's frozen by Everts. 3:47 and counting. Shot out front that goes wide. Neff had a great look, but the blast goes wide. Puck will be frozen. .325 left to go. Face off to the left of Everts. Controlled by the slap shots. Puck along the far side boards. Thunderbolts looking to come out with it, and there's a puck that ends up being shot into the near side corner in front of us. Trying to center it is Neff. It goes around the back of the net into the corner. The long blast that's blocked out front. And eventually sent down into the Thunderbolts defensive zone with 2:38 left to go in the game. Janelle Lehman and Neff out front. Neff got a good opportunity on goal, but a couple of great saves by Everts as Tanucci was also down there.
Looks like they have a timeout here.
Timeout taken, looks like by the Thunderbolts with 2:15 to go. 15-3, St. Cloud leading. Dayton Wentney scoring 6 times in this game for the slap shots. Also called Brian Jones's name a lot. He's put on a lot of nifty moves. He scored a few times as well. We have a face-off to the left of Everts.
Looks like both subs are in for both teams now.
2:05 to go here in the game. There's Marshall Ends up being fallen on by Reynolds. So Reynolds has had quite a few good saves today. He had one where it looked like he kind of had to sprawl backwards and fall on it to keep it from going into the net. There's play along the far side boards. Marshall looking and throwing it toward the net. That goes wide. Thunderbolts controlling it behind the net and then taken away in the far corner by St. Cloud. As Jack Roffers pushes it back down deep into the offensive zone. And wraparound attempt by Marshall, which is stopped by Reynolds. We go under 1 minute to play. 15-3, St. Cloud leading. Puck battle out front on the near side boards. We go under 30 seconds, and Reynolds makes another great save. This time, another blast by Adam Marshall.
It's good to see these players who don't normally get to see the floor, end it here for both teams.
Absolutely. So we go under 10 seconds. St. Cloud fans giving the countdown. They're moving on to the championship game. As they get off the bench and celebrate, they'll advance. They'll take on North Suburban in the championship game with a great effort here against South Washington. Similarly, great effort by the Thunderbolts. They come up short today, but they'll move on. They'll play for the third place title later against Maple Grove. Now 15-3 the final here as St. Cloud defeats South Washington County. And St. Cloud will go on to take on North Suburban in the CI final later on this afternoon. Thanks for tuning in to the semifinal coverage. Stay tuned. We'll have coverage of both the final games as well coming up later on PSB Media. For Mike York, I'm Patrick Collier. Thank you for joining us. Stay tuned we'll be back later with more coverage for the championship rounds.